This is Part 2, Episode 132. Feng Zunge's expression was gloomy. His palm violently struck onto the Honorable Elder of the Hall of Soul in front of him, who had reached the strength of a 3-star Dozun, and forced the latter to take a step back. The current situation had somewhat exceeded their control. The appearance of this old ghost Jiaxing could have considered to have turned the situation of this place around. If something went wrong, it was likely that quite a lot of deaths would occur in this group of theirs today. Once the old me has finished off this little fellow, I will let all of you know that my Hall of Soul is not a place where you can come and go as you please. Old ghost Jiaxing laughed coldly. Immediately, his dark and dense eyes were turned towards Xiao Yan below. His voice was dense as he spoke. You dare to fool the old me with just the strength of a Dozong. This is the first time that the old me has met with such a thing. Old ghost Jiaxing stepped gently onto the empty air after his words sounded and walked towards Xiao Yan. Black fog surged out from within his body in all directions. That might caused one to feel shock. The strength of a 5-star Dozun was indeed unusually frightening. Xiao Yan's expression also changed slightly as he looked at old ghost Jiaxing, who was stepping over the black fog that permeated the sky and arrived with great killing intent. This old fellow was obviously planning to personally kill him. However, with Xiao Yan's current strength, it was impossible for him to truly be a match for old ghost Jiaxing even if he used the Skyfire 3 mysterious change. Of course, this did not mean that Xiao Yan was completely just a pile of meat on a chopping board waiting to be slaughtered. The current him had already completely subdued the 3000 burning flame. He could be considered to be in possession of 4 types of heavenly flame. If he used 4 types of heavenly flames to merge into an angry Buddha lotus flame, that would definitely be far from what the annihilation lotus flame, that was created from the life-transforming flame, could compare with. However, Xiao Yan required sufficient time to use this thing. With the strength of old ghost Jiaxing, he would definitely not provide Xiao Yan with sufficient time to prepare that kind of great killing weapon. Currently, the elite Dozuns on their side had already been held back by the honorable elders from the Hall of Souls. The only one who was still free to act was Zi Yang. This girl's strength might have currently soared, and that her actual form was an ancient void dragon, but she was still young. It was impossible for her to be a match for old ghost Jiaxing. Let me help you hold him back. While Xiao Yang's eyes were flickering, Zi Yang, who was a short distance away, appeared to have sensed his thoughts. Her delicate small body leaped over the mid-air and appeared in front of Xiao Yang. Her small face was filled with seriousness as she spoke. Can you do it? Xiao Yang hesitated for a moment before asking in a worried manner. Can you still find someone else now? Zi Yang replied without even turning her head. Xiao Yang was speechless. He could only clench his teeth and speak in a deep voice, help me by some time. Be careful. Pull back if you are really unable to do it. Zi Yang nodded her small head slightly. Her little hands suddenly formed a couple of strange seals. Immediately, an intense purple light surged out from within her body. Under this purple light, Zi Yang's lovely little body suddenly grew rapidly. Within a short couple of breaths, she had turned from a little girl into a tall purple-haired great beauty, who appeared extremely sexy. That alluring manner was actually the same as the one that Xiao Yang had seen in the small valley back then. Zi Yang pulled a thread of purple hair behind her ear after transforming into this appearance. She turned her head, only to see Xiao Yang's stunned manner. Her pretty face reddened and she immediately glared viciously at him. However, she had forgotten that she was no longer that little girl from earlier. By performing such an expression, she had instead appear extremely bewitching, causing one's heart to pound. You have really undergone a big change. Xiao Yang laughed bitterly and shook his head. He immediately inhaled a deep breath of air and swiftly pulled back. His voice was deep as he said, I'll leave him to you. Be careful. Xiao Yang pulled his hands back while he withdrew. The purple-brown flame appeared. After which, they separated, turning into 3 clusters of different colored heavenly flames that suspended in front of him. While Xiao Yang had moved his hand and prepared a great killing weapon, Zi Yang's pretty eyes had also become unusually grave. She firmly stared at old ghost Jiaxing a short distance away. It was possible for her to sense a truly dangerous aura on the latter's body. This time around, it was no longer just a game. In this current situation, Yang was also clearly aware that this old ghost Jiaxing was the greatest variable. Little fairy doctor, and the rest were current unable to free themselves. If he was allowed to charge into those battlegrounds, little fairy doctor, and the rest would definitely be swiftly defeated. At that time, everything would truly be over. Therefore, no matter what happened, she must hold this old fellow back. She needed to delay him until Xiao Yan successfully unleashed that great killing weapon. Only then would they be able to safely withdraw from this rescue operation today. Otherwise, their group would truly suffer heavy casualties. All the hope was on whether she could buy sufficient time for Xiao Yang. Old ghost Jiaxing frowned slightly as he looked at Yang, who was blocking in front. His eyes rotated twice over the latter. For some unknown reason, he discovered that he was actually unable to see through Yang's actual strength. While he could not see through it, he could still sense that Yang was unable to pose much of a threat to him. Perhaps it is some unique items that can shield one's aura. Old ghost Jiaxing muttered to himself within his heart. Immediately, his eyes turned towards Xiao Yang behind. At this moment, the latter shook the ring on his finger after summoning 3 types of heavenly flames. A wisp of dense white flame slowly rose from it. 4 types of heavenly flames. Seeing this scene, old ghost Jiaxing could not help but shrink his eyes slightly despite his calmness. His expression also changed a little. The might of something like the heavenly flame was extremely great. However, it was incredibly rare. One would be considered to be greatly blessed to obtain one of them. However, Xiao Yang's hands had 4 types of heavenly flames. How could this not cause old ghost Jiaxing's heart to tremble? This brat is indeed a little mysterious. From the looks of it, he seemed to be preparing to unleash some extremely powerful attack. Old ghost Jiaxing guessed Xiao Yang's intention, after seeing the latter's solemn expression. Although he was uncertain about just how powerful the dose skill that Xiao Yang had prepared was, his usually cautious character would not allow Xiao Yang to successfully display it. This was the case even if he did not think that Xiao Yang could turn the situation around. Rat, do not continue to act recalcitrant. This will only cause your fate to be increasingly painful. Old ghost Jiaxing laughed in a dark and cold manner while this thought flashed within his heart. His feet stepped on the empty space, and he slowly walked towards Yang. Vast and mighty black fog lingered behind him and a pressure spread. This had caused the aura of quite a number of Hall of Souls experts to become a little sluggish. Faced with old ghost Jiaxing slowly walking over, Yang's pretty face also became increasingly solemn. A rich purple light surged out from within her body, and her hand was also tightly clenched. Are you going to step aside yourself, or do you wish for the old me to attack? The old me does not know how to go easy on a beauty like those young people. Old ghost Jiaxing slowly extended his hand, after stopping a couple of dozen feet in front of Yang. He aimed it at Yang from a distance and spoke in a faint voice. Kai, just attack if you want to. Why do you have to say so much nonsense? Yang merely curled her lips and laughed in the face of the enormous pressure from old ghost Jiaxing. You are indeed the same type as that brat. Even your tone is this dislikable. Old ghost Jiaxing's face became a little gloomy. A chillness suddenly surged over his eyes. Immediately, he clenched his hand that was aiming at Yang. After old ghost Jiaxing clenched his hand, an invisible ripple immediately spread in a lightning-like fashion. Soon after, the space around Yang appeared to have been pinched by an enormous invisible hand. It suddenly sunk amidst a wave of cracking sound. The space around Yang ruthlessly compressed towards her. If one was to firmly press onto that majestic force, even the flesh of an expert, at the peak of the Do Zone class, would immediately burst apart. Ads by Pub Future. However, when the compressing space was about to touch Yang's body, that purple glow lingering around her suddenly fluctuated. Immediately, it spread. When it did so, the sinking space that was violently compressing inwards solidified. After which, it slowly disappeared into nothingness. You are still too tender to be playing spatial force in front of this grandaunt. Xi Yang randomly resolved this spatial compression. After which, she curled her little mouth and spoke in an elderly manner. Interesting. A surprise flashed across old ghost Jiaxing's eyes when he saw that Xi Yang had easily resolved this spatial pressure that even someone at the peak of the Do Zone class would be helpless against. He immediately laughed coldly and clenched his hand. After which, a punch was thrown without any fancy move. Bang! This punch from old ghost Jiaxing had just been thrown when the majestic black fog immediately fluctuated in a monstrous manner. While it wiggled intensely, it transformed into 1,000 feet large enormous black giant python. It subsequently roared towards the sky. With a swing of its huge tail, it emitted a ripping sound and tore through the empty space. At the same time, it carried an incomparable wind and rushed over towards Xi Yang. The black large python rushed through the sky. That powerful wind pressure that was created directly caused a couple of 100-feet-long gully on the ground of the valley even though it was thousands of feet away. Some large rocks burst apart on the spot. Xi Yang's face also changed slightly in the face of this ferocious attack by old ghost Jiaxing. A rich purple light surged out from within her body. Her hand was also clenched tightly. Purple light vaguely agglomerated into a blurry dragon head on her fist. Ancient void fist. Xi Yang let out a delicate cry. Purple glow suddenly erupted from her hand like a volcano. Immediately, a purple light large dragon, that was a couple of 100 feet large, left her hand while carrying a sharp palm wind and a dense dragon's might. It roared towards the sky and violently collided with the large black python. Bang! A soul-stirring sound immediately erupted when the two collided. Terrifying air waves swept apart in the sky like a wind storm. The cliffs around the valley and the southern square collapsed on the spot. Enormous stones rolled down. Finally, the heavily landed onto the bottom of the valley, emitting a loud sound as they did so. Groan. Xi Yang's delicate body continuously pulled back as the frightening air wave surged over. A low moan was emitted from her throat. Fortunately, she did not suffer any injuries. The air wave raged in the sky for a moment before finally scattering. Those gazes that old ghost Jiaxing used to look towards Xi Yang also became increasingly strange. Although the punch from Xi Yang earlier was strong, it was impossible to completely receive his palm attack. From his senses, that purple dragon light had cut open a spatial crack line when the two collided and sent the majority of the attack by the black python into the empty space. This mysterious fist technique was something that old ghost Jiaxing had never even heard of. What a strange fist technique! Old ghost Jiaxing laughed in a strange manner. Immediately, his eyes glanced at Xiao Yan's direction. This glance caused his entire body to be filled with cold sweat. This was because Xiao Yan was already forcefully kneading the 4 types of heavenly flames together. Looking from a distance, it appeared just like an extremely wild and violent fireball. A terrifying temperature spread from that spot. Old ghost Jiaxing could clearly sense that the moisture in this entire place was swiftly being vaporized. Those green grass in the valley was swiftly withering at a speed visible to the naked eyes. This brat is a little strange. I cannot delay any longer. This strange scene finally caused old ghost Jiaxing to feel a little uneasy. He was naturally clearly aware of the might of the heavenly flame. Moreover, the strength of the 4 types of heavenly flame being stacked on each other, even he would likely feel terrible should he be struck by it. This thought flashed across old ghost Jiaxing's heart. His expression swiftly became dark and dense. With a flash of his body, he appeared in front of Xi Yang in a ghost-like fashion. He slammed with his large hand and a vast and mighty force struck towards Xi Yang's chest in a lightning-like fashion, while carrying a frightening space-shattering strength. Faced with old ghost Jiaxing, who had suddenly used lethal attacks, there was a slight change in the expression on Xi Yang's pretty face. She could not pull back at this moment. Otherwise, should she end up giving the former an opportunity, he might interrupt Xiao Yan's heavenly flame merger. Hence, she could only step forward. Purple light lingered over her as her hand directly collided head-on with old ghost Jiaxing. Bang bang bang. Two figures followed each other like shadows in the sky. Each time the purple light and the black fog collided, it would bring about a thunder-like explosion. At the same time, numerous muffled groans would continuously appear. Bang! Another fierce collision occurred in the sky. The purple-colored figure was finally unable to hold out any longer. A mouthful of bright red blood was involuntarily spat out from her mouth. Her body was also shaken until she continuously pulled back. It was a moment later before she stabilized her body. That pretty face of hers was filled with a paleness. She was no match for old ghost Jiaxing when it came to this kind of head-on clash. Was it not because Ziyang had a strong constitution, and that she was born with great strength? It was likely that the veins in her body would have been forcefully shattered during these dozen-over-palm collision. After all, an expert at the peak of a 5-star dozun was really too strong. However, compared with the pale pretty face of Ziyang, a great storm was brewed within old ghost Jiaxing's heart. After exchanging blows, he clearly understood that the former's strength was merely that of a dozong. However, this seemingly gentle and weak girl was even more terrifying than Xiao Yan. Not only did she forcefully receive over a dozen punches from him, but that terrifying strength that was vaguely reflected had actually caused his hand to become a little numb. This girl, just what kind of monster is she? The corner of old ghost Jiaxing's mouth twitched and a killing intent suddenly surged within his eyes. These people were not ordinary people. They must never be left alive to cause future troubles. Otherwise, the next time they meet, the one who was unlucky might be him instead. Star-plucking hand. The expression of old ghost Jiaxing finally became completely dark and solemn as killing intent surged within his heart. He densely looked at Ziyang, who was watching him with caution. After which, he let out a cold laughter. Black fog surged over his hand before he suddenly grabbed it. This grab was extremely strange. This was because old ghost Jiaxing's hand had strangely disappeared when he did so. Only his arm was still left outside that space. A rich sense of danger surged within Ziyang's heart when she saw this strange scene. Her body hurriedly withdrew. However, she suddenly sensed a chill on her neck when he was pulling back. Immediately, a great force was transmitted over and firmly grabbed her neck. Die. You are the one who will damn well die. A killing intent surged within the eyes of old ghost Jiaxing when his hand grabbed Ziyang's neck. He was just about to kill her when a spatial crack line was suddenly formed a short distance away. Immediately, a strong tower-like figure rushed out from it. His fist violently smashed towards old ghost Jiaxing's head. That manner was such that old ghost Jiaxing's head would burst apart with a bang should he be struck by it even with his strength. This sudden unexpected change caused old ghost Jiaxing to be shocked. It was definitely impossible to adopt a life-for-a-life method. Hence, he released Ziyang in a lightning-like fashion, and his palm collided with the metal fist that was fiercely charging over. Bang! A terrifying storm erupted. Old ghost Jiaxing took 2 continuous steps back. That strong body of his flew backwards. After which, it landed beside Ziyang in a somewhat staggering manner. Cough, big fellow, didn't you go and roam the continent? Ziyang held her throat and coughed. After which, she looked at the large man beside her and gasped with surprise. The big man was naturally Xiao Yan, whom Ziyang had brought out from the pill realm. At this moment, he also let out a dry laughter. After which, he carefully looked at the spatial crack line that had been torn earlier. He mumbled, "Damn it, it is not that the old me wished to come, but I was thrown over." Old ghost Jiaxing had a gloomy expression, as he looked at Xiao Yan from a short distance away. After sensing that the latter was also a dozun, his eyelids twitched involuntarily. His expression changed abruptly before he could speak. After which, his eyes hurriedly turned towards the direction that Xiao Yan was located, only to see an exquisitely beautiful fire lotus formed by 4 colors slowly being suspended in Xiao Yan's palm. An annihilation-like strength that caused his heart to feel a little chilled quietly spread. Through the delay caused by Ziyang, Xiao Yan had finally managed to merge and form an annihilation fire lotus that was created from 4 types of heavenly flames. This video will end here.